Okay, so this sync meeting was requested to make some clarity in a specific issue. I'll share my screen. We'll discuss it. Okay. So this is the issue that we started talking about: implement scale up, down, switch from deploy boards. This issue was formerly called implement blue-green switch on deploy boards, but we changed it. So what I'd like to do, unless Shinya, since you requested the meeting, if you have an objection, let me know. What I'd like to do is just start from the beginning, from where we were actually trying to go, and then drill down to the specific issue.
Can I suggest one thing? Like there are a bunch of issues on this story, right? This is not the only issue, but we have the previous issues, and then maybe this is sort of a first issue. Or we're going to iterate on. Does it make sense to just quickly go through a rough overview how we're going to iterate the thing?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So there's two epics that hold this issue. The first one is advanced deployments. So today in GitLab, we support canary and incremental rollout and different permutations of that, like timed rollout and things like that. And we kind of support blue-green, but it's very complicated and hacky way. And what I wanted to do was just make it really easy to do blue-green deployments with GitLab. So,
sorry, one question. You said we kind of support blue-green deployment. Which feature are you talking about?
So Amy, like 2 or 3 milestones ago, did a video.
Yeah, that's one. Okay. So you mean the extension of GitLab CI auto-deploy templates, right?
Well, let's not jump to the solution.
Okay.
Let's not jump to the template or the UI or, so when we discussed this and we wanted to see how we can support even more advanced deployments, we discussed a load balancer, implementing a load balancer, and you did some research, and we came to the conclusion that the best way to implement load balancer would be to use NGNIX Ingress as our method, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the beginning where we started. And then we said, okay, so we're going to use Ingress. We're going to start Kubernetes first with NGNIX. And what's the first thing that we're going to do? So the first thing that we decided to do was to talk about different annotations, right? That's when I opened this issue, right? And we after doing some additional research, we talked about starting with the weight annotation, correct?
Can I ask a question, Orit? We started this story with, there are 2 epics. I've seen only one. What is the other one? Let's have the overview first.
This one. I just opened the second one.
So this is a sub epic to the other one, or?
Yes, it's linked here from this is the first epic, advanced deployments. And then underneath it, we have update NGNIX Ingress parameters annotations, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
Sorry that I didn't verbalize my clicks.
So this epic is specifically for Kubernetes deployments, maybe?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, this one, I don't know. We can discuss the advanced deployments, but we started Kubernetes first, and that's fine. I also opened another issue for advanced deployments for AWS, which is non-Kubernetes, but it's out of scope of the specific issue that we're talking about. Okay?
Yes.
Good. What we said was we were going to allow the users to define the weights. And the first thing that we wanted to do was non-configurable weights. So go from 0 to 100 and go from 100 to 0, which in fact will do a blue-green deployment. Okay? So now I'm going back to this issue. which probably should be linked under the other epic, which I'll take an action item because it's the same detail. So we had a lot of conversations around this area. And a few weeks ago, we talked about this. So we discussed canary weight to 0 and 100. And then I wrote, thinking beyond this specific issue, maybe instead of blue-green, we introduced buttons called scale up, scale down, which will give us maximum flexibility in the future so we don't have to change the buttons to something else. But this specific issue is implementing blue-green.
Wait, can you go back to the previous epic?
Yeah.
So I still feel like we kind of jumped into that issue because
No problem.
we still have 3-4 issues before that.
First
Right.
of all, this should probably go under here. I don't know, does this
Yeah,
work?
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then like the 218522, I'm currently working on this. And then, yeah, and this is in progress. And then at the next, where we go?
So the next one is API, okay? This one is all preparation. The next thing is actually letting users, sorry about this mess, actually configure it, right? So whatever is easier, I don't really have a preference, but usually API is faster. So it doesn't matter to me. We need to support both API and UI in the end. So whichever one is easier to go, that's fine. Don't care. So the next one I have is API, which is for 13.4. And this one we actually talked about asynchronously as well, where I said, I think API needs to come first. Maybe we should push this to the next milestone. This was this week we talked about it, right?
So this issue is basically like let users to set what we can do with API in UI.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Like at first we support API and we allow users to control the weight of Ingress via API, public API. So we don't need a front-end efforts on that issue. And at the next step, we actually extend the UI to let them to choose, set the weight in UI, correct?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Now, there's a little bit of a repetition between this issue and the issue about the scale up and scale down, because the scale up, scale down issue is like a private case of the traffic UI. Because again, we started from implementing switch to blue, switch to green, which is basically 0 to 100, right?
Is that ever used? Like, isn't it
Yeah.
always that you want to go from like a small percentage to a bigger
No.
percentage to a full percentage?
Blue-green deployment is a very, very popular method. Not everyone goes to canary.
No, but still, like if you had the traffic distribution between blue and green, what is the general use case? Either on or off, or is it like distribution slowly from one to the other?
So the idea of blue-green is that you do your development on some branch, and when you're ready to deploy, you do like in one shot, you switch the entire production to the new deployment. But the added value of this is that you can easily roll back. So you monitor your deployment, you check if you have performance problems or errors or anything, and based on that feedback, you decide if to leave that as production or to do a rollback. So
Right.
it's like the first step to canary. It's even before canary.
Okay, that makes sense. So then from a engineering side, does it make sense that we limit ourselves, even if it is not the main use case?
So yeah, that's interesting question. So basically Canary allows more flexibility than blue-green deployment. Canary actually allows the granular percentage rollout or header specification. Like there are much more advanced features. And then, yeah, the first thing I felt on that new issue is why do we need blue-green on top of Canary?
So
Yes.
in an iteration standpoint, again, blue-green is a specific use case of Canary. Once we support Canary, we support them all. So if we can do everything in one milestone, yay, we can skip this issue. It's an idea to split it up because scale up, scale down in terms of blue-green, you can't set the weight. It's hard-coded, right? 0 to 100, that's it. And the user can't set any other value. It's either go to 100 or go to 0. So it's less front-end work. And I know that we still have to figure out, where exactly we want to place the annotations.
So sorry, one more question. So in this issue, so 2.1.8.139 set deployment traffic weight via UI, we allow users to set any number like 1%, even 1%, 50%, 30%, 99%.
Well, yeah, so short answer, yeah, any value, but I did write here a disclaimer for iteration. Allow customization of weight numbers. If this is difficult, we can have predefined values. For example, 25%, 50, 75, 100.
So,
Okay, so
let's say we can set 0% and 100% in this issue.
Yeah.
In the next issue, we achieve the same thing?
Yes.
With different button?
No. If we can do this in one milestone, then we can skip the other issue, I think.
Yeah, that was I was wondering about as well. But the thing is, the thing I'm wondering about is, if we make this a Canary feature, is it clear that this is intended for blue-green deployments?
No, but that's marketing, right? That's already a different problem. As long as it's supported, and we can make a really nice blog post about it, and like it'll be great. The only reason for this is for iteration purposes.
Actually, there's one more thing about I want to discuss is so your idea is basically set 0% and 100% on Canary deployment so that it acts like blue-green deployment, right?
Yeah.
I think it's slightly different from what user expects when they heard blue-green deployment. It's like to me personally, when I heard this term, I feel like a much more very fundamental thing, straightforward. There are always two production instances running, and the user can switch traffic. But in our current Canary deployments in Auto DevOps, it behaves slightly differently. Like at first, the users deploys a Canary instance, right, and then switch the traffic to Canary to test out the new feature, new instance. And when they promote the code, promote the deployment to production, the Canary instance will be destroyed because like there are no points to running two instances, exactly the same thing. So the current auto deploy works in this way. So in this sense, like there's some edge cases that it doesn't work exactly as blue-green deployment is. So my question is that should we create a blue-green deployment from scratch, like we introduce what exactly it should behave, which we don't have such feature today, or we tweak the canary deployment acts like blue green kinda, and then let's call it as it is okay as is. So like I wanna know this nuance.
Okay, so for Kubernetes, I think we need to tweak our current canary to be blue greenish. Okay.
Yeah.
For non-Kubernetes, I think we need to do regular blue green. So if we looked at advanced deployments for AWS, for example, they really do traffic routes with DNS properly. So let me see, blue-green deployments. So they really have like target groups that they switch. There's auto scaling groups. You have listener rules, which is basically, you know, networking rules, right? Forward to blue, everyone, or forward to green. And this is also using Ingress, right? So they actually have the two instances and they just change the traffic. So I think when we do this for non-Kubernetes, that's when we do the proper blue-green. I think for Kubernetes, Canary is really strong and we already have it. So I would just like to tweak it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Like introducing robust blue-green deployment seems a bit pointless because currently the Kubernetes deployment already has a canary, and it's much more advanced. So, and yeah.
A quick question for how it would look like on Kubernetes deployment, right? Like for a Kubernetes environment, say that you do a blue-green deployment and you have 8 pods active for your production environment, then you have your blue environment set up additionally. So then it will, like, am I correct in assuming that it will create 8 additional pods that are canary enabled? Then it will convert all network to the other one. And then if it works okay, the other 8 pods are closed.
Yeah, that's what should happen.
Yeah, there's a diagram. Can you open the issue I'm currently working on?
The prepare or something.
Yeah, yes, something.
Yeah, let me get there. This one.
Yeah, that one. And please scroll down a bit. Scroll down and then please wait. There. It should render. Okay. Scroll up a bit. Yep,
Yeah, I'm
there.
trying to fit it all in.
So this is our new architecture in our Kubernetes OD deploy things. And then, so at first, the first level is NGNIX Ingress. This is our Ingress for all environments, including production, staging, and the review apps. And then it drives down the production namespace, and the production namespace also has Ingress. Yes. Then it passes through the traffic to Canary Ingress, which does a bunch of advanced things, and then controlling a traffic based on the header or like even weight. For example, 50% going to stable track at the left, or 50% going to canary track at the center. And then, so basically, in that in the issues that like we let API to set the canary head canary weight, it basically let users to control this canary ingress in this diagram. And then after traffic is routed, there are individual deployments, stable means a production, and the canary means a canary. And these are isolated. Each runs different application. In serially, stable runs older code, and then canary runs newer code. So this is how it's going to be look like.
What's the rollout track?
This is please disregard this track. Probably we're going to remove this and simplify the things because we can achieve the same thing with canary and stable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it seems right. You distribute your traffic, and basically, Dimitri, to your question, I have 100% on my current production, and now I'm ready to roll out. So I send 100% here. So the same number of pods should be built here, and if everything's okay, these should die.
Yeah, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem to me though, like as a that you would think that a canary deployment would be more of a controlled and efficient way of doing your deployment switching. Like you wouldn't have 16 pods. You would just you have 8 plus 1 canary. All right, it's going good. All right, switch 3 extra, turn down a few original ones, and then slowly convert to 8 canary and then make them all production. And
But not everyone wants to work like that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why.
They have a specific deployment window. They want it in a one-shot. All they care about is fast rollback. I can tell you that there are other competitors that they have like blue-green deployments, and they have you're allowed to set a duration of how long you want the old production to live in case of a rollback. So it's just like a safety guard for your new production. Because when you think about it, most of the new deployments has gone through various testing phases. So it's pretty much ready for production. Why not canary? I don't know, but it's a very popular use case.
Gotcha.
So one qualification on this this specific auto deploy on Kubernetes, our feature. So stable track is created at first, and then canary track. Canary track will be created at first, and then next is stable track. So this is also wrong.
Stable is production.
Stable track is let's say there's a stable track, and then user deploys a new code and then create a canary track, right, in this diagram. And they switch traffic to canary track and then test things out. And if everything's okay, switch the traffic to, promote the deployment to stable track. So it overrides the stable, and then canary will be deleted. Not like previously already said that stable will be destroyed, but not. It's slightly inaccurate that stable is always exists, and the canary is sometimes deleted after the evaluation is done. The application is promoted to the stable track. And then one more thing I wanted to point out is that when stable and the canary track, both track exists, it acts like blue-green deployment, right? Because stable is running old code, canary running new code, and then these two instances running separately, and we can control the traffic. So this is exactly the same with blue-green, what blue-green deployment does. So in this specific point, if users switch the traffic 0 to 100%, then it's completely blue-green deployment. But once user promoted the canary to production, then canary is going to destroy it. So it's no longer the case.
Yeah, so the deletion or removal of unneeded environments is the other way around, even though for the effect it has, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Are we okay with here? Do we know if this issue is redundant or if it really helps with the iteration? That would be the only reason to leave it open.
I'm wondering about that as well. I'll leave that fully up to Shinya to say, all right, can we implement immediately only 0 to 100%, or can we also do like, can we do the annotation directly from an engineering point of view?
So once we created a feature to flexibly set the annotation for weights, it's really easy to like set any weights to the canary ingress. So I think we don't need this issue, and then the previous issue is enough. Like the setting deployment traffic weight via UI. Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Would we want to leave this on the deploy board? Because the other issue is not really defined yet. It just says like allow customization of the weights, add this option to the UI to configure the weight through text or dropdown. Text means that we allow any value, right? And then the biggest question is, where do we place it? So do we place it on the deploy board? I think yes. Question is real estate here and how it looks.
So I was thinking of actually a similar direction. It just wasn't clear to me exactly before how we were going to do like the deployments. Was it so the thing where I was confused initially was, are we going to switch between two different environments and reroute traffic between two separate environments? But no, we're going to use canary deployments, which is all bundled up within a single environment. So that was where I was unclear. I would say we can just close this issue and use the other issue, and I'll kind of like come up with a solution that is probably going to use a similar UI piece as that, but it might not be the only place where we want to allow for that configuration to happen. So I don't want to say, all right, let's only do that. Let's see what is right.
You don't have to keep to my design. I'm definitely not a designer. It was just like, here's where my head's at.
It makes sense though. Like now that I know what is going on with Canary, it's like, all right, this makes sense.
Okay. There's another like close issue that I'd like to talk about that's not directly related to this, but it's still under the advanced deployments epic. So we talked a little about Canary, and we talked about blue-green. There's this really new cool method that I learned about that I think is really, really awesome. And I would like to also add support to it. So it's called traffic shadowing. And basically, the idea is that you don't deploy to another environment at all. But what you do here is really without any risk whatsoever, you check production traffic on your new development. So you have your regular production and all the traffic is going there. But what you do is you have a proxy in between in the traffic, and you mirror the traffic into where your development is currently. So staging maybe, and then you get real production like traffic on a non-production environment without any risk. Like users don't get to see the new development. It's not exposed to anyone, but you get to see the new behavior even before it's in production. So this is something that I want to explore and I think is really, really cool because it minimizes the entire risk.
Oh, sorry. How does this work with different database changes? Like you cannot get the same traffic to do things on the new thing if the old thing does not yet support that flow at all, right?
It may not answer all the use cases, but it definitely answers a bit of it. So the idea is that the problem with testing in pre-production environments is that they're never like the production data. And here you get to mirror the production data on your testing environments, which is really, really nice.
Gotcha.
I don't think
Is
it
it-
tests new functionality, it just tests how, well, it tests new functionality based on your current traffic. But if you have a new parameter in the database, it's not going to appear in production. So the traffic's not going to say anything.
Is this something our competitors has?
I heard about this in a webinar that Launch Darkly presented, and I thought it was really nice.
So what? It's something built in Launch Darkly?
I guess so. Maybe they just talked about it as a concept. I didn't look into the product. But I like the idea because it really has no risk whatsoever to your production environment.
So you're not thinking that this is specifically connected to our feature flag feature?
No,
Or it's completely different?
I think it's more traffic based. So I think it's more in the lines of advanced deployments, because in my mind, feature flags are more, you meet a logical criteria like an if or else. And here you're just mirroring and duplicating a portion of your production traffic into another environment. Like the users don't actually see it, right? In feature flags, you have users that meet a criteria and they get to see new functionality. But here, no one's seeing the new functionality besides the internal team, right? Does
They
that make
just
sense?
came in. They just came into the room with a little kitten. Sorry, I was a little distracted. Look at that. Wait. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry.
So I'll repeat, Shinya asked me if I don't think that this belongs to the feature flags domain. And I don't think so, because in feature flags, you're allowing users to see new functionality based on a specific criteria that they meet. And this is traffic based. So everything traffic based is more, in my mind, advanced deployments, and feature flags is more how you give a subset of your users the new functionality. And here the users don't actually get the new functionality.
Got it.
So do we have a link to the webinar? I'm also curious on that.
Oh, here I have. See?
Okay.
Look, I'm so organized.
I'm gonna check later.
Yeah. Look, and Dimitri, I listened to you. There's no proposal.
It's awesome. Thank you so much. I love the user experience goal being fulfilled.
Yeah, but this is a totally different topic, and we can talk about it asynchronously. I was just super excited about this, and I really want to get this in our product. But going back to our original discussion of the Helm annotations, do we have a clear goal?
I would say so.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna clear this one as a duplicate of this one. And I think that we're gonna move it into 13.5, Shinya.
Mm-hmm.
The UI one, because I think we need to complete the API first.
Yeah, I'm working on very aggressively.
Yeah,
I'm
but that
working
makes
hard.
sense.
Yep.
So I'll move this one out from 13.4 to 13.5, okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll soon come up with a design for the deployment board, and perhaps some additional places, but we can see how we can scope it out for MVC.
Cool. So if there's no more questions, we get like 10 minutes back.
All right.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you all.
Bye.